Hey everyone, welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. I had this idea of making this video because I know what it's like to be a hairstylist and have to handle situations when our clients are going through really hard times, either loss of a loved one or an illness or just going through some sort of grief. A lot of times clients come in and they need us, and it can feel very heavy because a lot of us are not equipped with dealing with that heaviness. But I'm here to tell you that being there for your clients when they're going through a rough time is such a gift we can give them. The gift of just listening to them, holding space for them to be themselves and to cry and to be human. And I think that's one of the most amazing parts of our job is if we're lucky enough to have clients that are with us for a long period of time. I've been doing hair 11 years, and I still have clients from the first year that I started that still really love me and love what I do. And it's just such a privilege and an honor to be able to be part of their lives. I think what sprung up this idea was the other day, one of my clients got married, and I was doing her hair when she met her now husband, and then they bought a house together, and then now they're getting married. And I just was reflecting on how interesting it is that we get to be so intertwined with our clients' lives, and what a privilege it is. And also how, even though getting married and all that, or having babies, I have a client that's had 5 kids since I've known her, and it's pretty incredible. But there's also things that come up like death of a loved one, either their spouse or their parents. I've had a few clients lose their parents recently, and just being there for them, listening to them. Sometimes I don't know the right things to say, but just holding space for them in their time of grief is, I mean, there's not much you can say, you know? Even though a lot of times clients come to me with really heavy things going on in their life, I think one of the most important things, and that I've gotten better at as time has gone on, is I've learned to have empathy, be there in the moment with them. And then once I leave the salon, I have to leave it. Because if I come home with that energy and bring it on, it's just, for me, it can be just very, very heavy on me. I also had a client recently who is going through a divorce, and I was with her for 3 hours. We were doing highlights and a cut, and she just told me all about her marriage and her divorce. I've been doing her hair for maybe 5 years or so, and just hearing her story, and it was really difficult. But I was like, I can't let this affect my reality or my day to day. I could take it in and be there for her and listen to her, but I think it's okay to have a little bit of, like, not bringing that energy home with you. I think that's really important because it helps you move on and be there for your family and for yourself. But in the present moment when you're with your client, it's such a good thing to just let them talk. I mean, that's usually what I do, is I just let my clients talk. If I have questions, I'll ask them. Usually I don't. I went through one of the hardest, I mean, it was definitely harder than COVID. If you're a hairdresser and you survived COVID, you are a trooper, because that was a really tough time. But a few months ago, so I live near LA, and I used to live in Altadena, and I had a studio in Pasadena, which is like a mile away from Altadena. And I gained a lot of clients that lived in the Altadena area. And when the fires broke out a few months ago, I knew I had quite a few clients that lived in that area, but I didn't know how many of them had lost their homes. And of quite a few of them I see on a monthly basis. There's 2 in particular that I see every 3-4 weeks for their root touch-ups, and they both lost their homes. And that was really the hardest thing that I've ever had to go through, as far as being in this job and holding space for people. It was so difficult. I couldn't help but take on that energy because I used to live in that area and I know that area very well and I love that neighborhood. And all the beauty that was there is just gone now. And my clients were a part of that. So, but it's a really hard thing when tragedy happens, but it is important to just be a presence and be a hug and be an ear to listen to them. I think that's the biggest advice I can give you if is just be an ear, They appreciate that. Just give them tons of compliments, make them feel beautiful. I was really amazed that my clients who lost their homes, they didn't skip a beat with their appointments. They look forward to their appointments. One of them came a week after the fires. And even though she was devastated and crying the whole appointment, she's like, oh, I can't, like, there's nowhere else I'd rather be than getting my hair done. So that really meant a lot to me to be there for her. And I know how hard it can be. Just know that your job speaks leaps and bounds for people going through a hard time. And it doesn't go unnoticed. When you're making someone's hair really beautiful and making their life a little easier, just little things like that really add up. So with that, I hope that this video helped a little bit, and just know that you're not alone. And yeah, being a hairdresser is an amazing job. It's so creative. You get to be around so many amazing people, but there are times where it's very challenging, and especially when there's loss and, divorce, sickness, but you're not alone. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.